As soon as the offices were set to close down, management jumped in super quickly and efficiently and worked really hard to get everybody working remotely. It was impressive and it worked. I mean, they were able to get all the equipment, the resources, the support, and probably the most quick and efficient I've seen something come across. It was really good. I really feel that IT had made great strides in preparing us to work remotely prior to the pandemic. And so when the pandemic hit, we were able to move so quickly into getting all the CSRs home and all their equipment ready. So I think that that was a huge accomplishment for IT and for the management staff that we were able to do that so quickly. We already had in place a lot of self-service payment options that our customers were using prior to the pandemic. Once the pandemic hit, it increased substantially, the use of those payment self-service options, and it continues even now with our offices reopened. I think the customers have learned that that's a really efficient way to do business with us and convenient. So like I said, they were used during the pandemic and they're still being heavily used now.
The biggest challenge was the ability to the customers have confidence in us that we can do business without face-to-face contact, and really getting them to understand that there are self-service options that are available, that we can still assist with collecting payments, or we are still available to help understand what uncertainties they have so we can give them more information on how we will continue to do business as an electric company and service them in a way that there is not a fear of being disconnected because they cannot pay, because certain events have happened in their homes that really has caused an adjustment and a lifestyle change.
And I was able to help customers learn that we have a multitude of different ways to make a payment, or to look at your bill, or to just look up information about your account, So I think that we were able to work together on utilizing things outside of the office, like online website or Dropbox, or even just the phone system.
We did see an influx in customers using the assistance programs, ours and CAC's, through 2020, and our CSRs did a very good job of promoting those throughout. Some of those assistance programs offered huge payments to the accounts and were able to help customers that needed that at those times.
Management team did such a good job at giving us all of our tools that we needed to be able to work from home. So that way we were confident enough to rely on that, to give that to the customers and just give them as much information as we can, and keeping that communication open and being personable too. Letting them know we understand what you're going through, but we're doing our best to work with you, and this is what we can do for you.
Now we're all back in the office, and thanks to all the efforts of PPE and safety restrictions, we're able to get back together and see each other and communicate in a safe way.
So in 2020, we accomplished quite a bit. We obviously were able to get people home working safe. We were able to get Windows 10 rolled out and get Office 365 out to the users. We were able to make some iView Connect enhancements, get that deployed out. The role that we played with, as the pandemic came out, we realized that there was going to be a gap in the ability for people to communicate with one another from home outside of just the traditional phone. So we did roll out Microsoft Teams. We wish that it probably could have been a little bit different. We didn't know everything about it at the time and how it all worked, and couldn't quite tell everybody the right way to do things 100% because we were kind of rushed into it. But because we had the Office 365 already out, the ability to just turn on Teams was really easy. And it gave us that ability to do the video conferencing immediately, whether it was through an iPad or a phone or through your VDI or your home PC. That was really instrumental in being able to really collaborate and work as a teams and keep people productive at home, and not just, oh, here's a phone call and give them an assignment. It's like you can actually have meetings, you can actually talk to somebody, you can see their face. We had to reconfigure the phone system, so we were able to take the phone system the way that it works here and pretty much take it home for the users. So the customer service people were able to answer phones over a headset, on a laptop, just like if they were sitting in the call center here. We were able to expand our capabilities for online payments and the kiosks, so that we didn't have to have the walk-in traffic and still get the payments. All of IT did a really good job. It's a big change. A lot of people are used to having the one-on-one interaction, and whether it's somebody having an issue with iView or somebody having an issue with a PC or a printer, the ability to get up out of your office and go help somebody one-on-one is completely different than helping somebody at home in a remote capacity. So everybody had to kind of adjust the way that they've provided support. Cybersecurity is always a big component in today's day and age, so trying to build our cybersecurity program out and enhancements along that.
So the Southridge substation, new substation, we added this one in. It's going to have 4 feeders coming out of here for all the growth that's going on out here kind of in the south end of Kennewick. When they punched in Bob Olson, the growth out here is just going absolutely nuts. That will go all the way in towards the new Leslie substation, filling in all that empty land. We absolutely had to have the substation in here to pick up all this new growth. What this is going to do is take up all of the new building that's going out on this side, and then we'll also be able to tie into Zephyr and some of our other substations. So in case we have outages, we'll be able to switch things around and keep everybody in service.
What we did is we bought a spare transformer for the sub because that particular substation, the factory that's out there, has a motor that has like 8,000 amps when it turns on. So you need a special kind of transformer with the right impedance. And so what we did is we bought a spare there, and so that if we get in trouble out there and lose a transformer, you know, obviously they could lose a lot of money in a, you know, really short period of time if they're not up and running. So we took the new transformer, put it in, took the old one out, put it in our yard. Now we have a spare for out there. So our shop's done good. You know, we've kept up with our maintenance and we haven't fallen behind too bad. Things are going pretty good, real good actually.
At first it was a little challenging trying to maintain the work with the limited crew structure we had. We were a third, then we went to 50%, and then we were fully staffed after about 2 months, so that was a little challenging with the lack of workforce getting all this work done. But we improvised, adapt, and overcame. Ely substation feeder, we lost a feeder out of there, and we decided to change out all the old cable out of it after we had a feeder fault right after we energized the substation. So once that feeder faulted, we decided to change out every run out of Ely substation. So Dustin's crew did a really good job on that, and Shane Bresky's crew. And I think Diaz was involved in that too. Safety is important. We all want to go home at the end of the day, see our families.
Project-wise, we had some engineering jobs that we retrofitted controls at Ely Substation, which was a major project that we completed this last year. We began a design and construction of Southridge Substation. Right now we're about 95 to 97% complete on it. We got a couple more weeks of a little bit of testing and stuff, and then we'll be done. BPA is connected at Southridge, so that's all. We're live with 115 kV transmission voltage in there. We replaced 36,000 feet of old conductor replacements to the tune of about $1.5 million last year. We anticipate doing about the same or a little bit more next year. Our contractors were able to complete our goals, which were 2,500 violations corrected. Was our goal, and we actually had 2,600. Our other goal was to visit about 1,050 poles, and we visited just over 1,100. So that was huge, and we're going through this section by section, and it's making a very large difference.
Well, our HR team is accustomed to being adaptable, but 2020 has certainly been a year that's kept us on our toes. At the onset of the pandemic, at the beginning of the year, our team had to take quick action to help the district transition all employees and assist them with telework schedules for our office employees, and then just assisting with the ever-evolving safety measures and requirements for critical infrastructure workers on site and in the field. Right away in March, the HR team began researching and following all local, state, and federal health updates and guidance. We developed our COVID-19 safety and exposure control plan based on the Washington State Department of L&I's template, which covers responsibilities for Benton PUD as an employer, as well as responsibilities for all of us as employees. And then we've continued to actively review and update that plan throughout the year as new information's been shared. We also incorporated the Washington State Department of Health and local health districts' various exposure scenarios and actions, which has been a very valuable tool that we continue to refer to often. Since the pandemic, we've been able to utilize MS Teams and do many more things virtually than we might have considered prior to March. We've found ways to streamline and enhance our processes, including the interview and the new hire process, by finding opportunities that have also resulted in cost savings, for example, by avoiding travel expenses. We're looking forward to exploring the benefits of continuing some of these processes in the future by building on the virtual and paperless opportunities put in place in 2020.
I think what 2020 taught me more than ever is that life has storms, and storms come. You know, life's good, but it does have these difficult times. And that when you build your life on a foundation of principles, relationships, and people, you can survive through difficult storms. As I think about the operations group in particular, I think about the continued economic development and growth in our community, kind of in spite of COVID. We're at a point now where at the end of the year in 2020, we had installed over 900 new electric services, which is just amazing to me when you consider all the economic turmoil that's going on. And so I think that's just a testimony to our strong work ethic and that get her done culture, which I really appreciate. And you know, we have some of the best crews out there. You know, nobody expects to manage through a pandemic when they become the general manager. And so, you know, I've had a lot of people talk to me and say, well, how are you doing it and how are you managing it? And to be quite honest, it hasn't been about me at all. It's easy to look back on 2020 and really kind of shake your head and just wonder, how did we survive? I think it really comes down to some really simple fundamental principles, just hiring the right kind of people, getting them the right kind of equipment, the right kind of systems, the right kind of leadership, and then turn them loose to go out and just do the job that they want to do and that they're excellent at doing. And that really, I think, means a lot to people. It means a lot to the people that work here, but you know, equally important, it means a lot to our community that we serve.